after a very, very, like, long and exhausting Friday. I forgot to go into my VC so you could see my model. I'm an idiot.
Joined.
I really gotta, like, remind myself more often. Because, like, my god, I do this, like, way too often where I keep forgetting, like, to, like, fucking, like, join the VC so you can actually see my model. Anyway, I'm gonna be having a private offline lobby just by myself for the time being. Because I wanna just relax a little bit, do a little bit of fishing without too much distraction. Let me just go ahead and add some few things before we go ahead and start playing. Let's see. Let's go with here. Right. Yep. All right. Now let me just go ahead and put on some music, like we usually do for these relaxing, calm little streams where we just relax, chat a little bit, and just fish a little bit. But yeah, like I mentioned a few minutes ago, like, today was pretty exhausting. That's pretty much all I'm gonna say. Okay, I gotta back off a little bit. There we go. And I fell. Alrighty. Anyway. But yeah, I hope everyone has been having a great Friday. I didn't really do much because I've just been way too exhausted after work that I've just been like in bed, like just watching YouTube and all that for like multiple hours. Like literally not doing anything. So I've just been literally like barely doing anything today after work because it's just been so exhausting. Let's see, where's that little fishy? There it is. I can see a little bubble or dust, whatever that's supposed to be. It's somewhere in that direction. Uh-huh. Ooh, there's a ladder. I've never seen a ladder. I've never seen that ladder before. At least I don't think I've seen this ladder before. Oh, I jumped way too far. There we go. But yeah, so like literally today, like I wanted to go and do a bit more editing, but like I was just so goddamn exhausted that I was like, I'll do it once I get out of bed. And then I decided to not do any editing for over 5 hours. So yeah, maybe not the best idea. I should definitely also relax a little bit on the streams. Because I feel like because I'm doing so many streams. Like, one, I'm taking out all of my like ideas as it feels like I'm taking out all of my like stream ideas as fast as I can with the amount of streams I'm doing. And also it's like I feel like I'm slowly feeling like I'm starting to burn myself out because of it. Because like as I mentioned, like I've been experimenting like what kind of days would be good to stream for, like I think since like the end of December. No, actually it might have been earlier. Let me check on my stream VOD thingy, because I know that should be displaying when I did my like little. I know the first experimental like quote unquote streams I did were once I started to make a schedule. I know that for one. The question is when did I first do my stream? Like the first experimental stream. Schedule. The beginning of December, actually. So in the beginning of December, I started to do experimental streams, from what it seems like. Right? Actually, it might have been, yeah, like midway around December, I started to do the experimental stream. So it's been almost a month, and I've gotten quite a bit of some data. Again, it's not much. Like I still need to do a couple, like a lot more. I need to get like a lot more data. Because again, like I really only like export the data of my like Twitch stream statistics like once it's like the first of like the next month. And so I currently only have the few streams that I did in December. And from that there are a few things missing still. Like I would say before I end my little experimental thingy that I did that I'm doing, I want to get at least for every day on my tracker thingy, I want to get at least a double digit of amount of streams. So for example, like Saturday and Sunday I have like the most amount of streams right now, like recorded and tracked, which is 32 for both of them as of right now. Though it might not be 32 anymore. I don't think I checked in quite a while. Actually, no. It is 32 for both of them. Saturday and Sunday have the most with 32 streams. Meanwhile, all of the other like weekdays have like less than 10 streams. Like Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday have like 9 streams currently recorded, while Tuesday and Friday have only 5, which is a tiny amount. Like that is extremely tiny with how many streams those have. So like I gotta get a ton more like data for both of these, for both of like Tuesday and Friday and the rest of the weekdays. And I think for the weekdays I have essentially all of them except Tuesday and Friday now at double digits, thanks to the like full week stream that I did like from the end of December to like New Year's into January. So pretty much the only few things that are really missing is like just getting Tuesday and Friday towards the double digits, and then get like a few more of the other days as a sort of like extra backup, because you never know if the like statistics might have some missing data and all of that, unless you have like if I wanted to get like actually like knowing how many streams I have and which day would be good for streams, I would have to do like hundreds of streams most likely for like every day. And I'm not that kind of person that can like just pull out like everyday streams. Like I can't pull that on, or else I would be like burned out in like less than a month. That's why I also said I'm not gonna be doing any more of like a full week streams worth of like streams in the schedule, because that shit like burn. I feel like that has started a little bit of the burnout that I have at this point. So I'm just gonna go till I have decently enough info that I would know like, oh yeah, this would be pretty good for a day to stream. This one might not be as good for a day to stream. This one is horrendous for a day to stream at. You know, all that kind of stuff. I don't know if I should make like a... Actually, no, that's stupid. That sounds dumb. I was gonna say like I should do like a document kind of thingy where I like track down all of the like results afterwards, but that's just stupid. I can just literally just look at the actual spreadsheet and know, oh yeah, this is a good day to stream at, while this one isn't. But yeah, so I'm gonna be doing a few streams on Tuesday and Friday more. Well, then getting a few other stuff in the background as well. Like a few more data for the other days. 3,800. That might be a new like personal best. Like the new highest fish I might have. Let me check my aquarium to check how much my little whale buddy is. I think it's not even a whale anymore. It's a catfish. Let's see. 2,000. Oh yeah, the turtle is way more expensive now. Alright. We got our new little emergency like money bank thingy. Now we continue fishing. But yeah, I'm probably gonna be doing... So I think most likely I'm gonna be finishing off the experimental phase of streams when I get to December. December, I'm stupid. Right, I'm gonna be doing experimental streams for a full year. Yeah, right. But no, I'm gonna be doing like experimental streams to like February. And then once we get into March is most likely when I'm gonna be looking at the statistics, what looks pretty good, what might be the better days, and then like start streaming consistently on those specific days. But before we can even get to like February, it's like gonna be taking a while. That's a big fish. It was not a big fish. But it does give a lot of money. Oh, one of my buddies caught something. That's nice. But yeah, so that's gonna be essentially my whole plan of the rest for January and February. Not much really else to say on that note. I wonder, I don't even know, have we even like talked much about like New Year's resolution? I know we once mentioned a bit on the collab stream with Lady Zero Dark I think it might have been a week ago, maybe a few weeks ago, I'm not sure. But we didn't really like do much on that. Like we didn't really like talk much on that. But I mean, there's not really much else to say about it, other than just saying what, like, the New Year's resolutions we set out to be, we have. I mean, I guess I could, like, talk a bit about the, like, interview bucket lists I have. Which is also a thing that I have on my New Year's resolution, that I want to get at least one person off that bucket list, like, interviewed. And so far with the questions for all of them, I think most of them have at least a minimum of like one question at this point now. Some of them having more questions already written down than others. Just gonna be double checking real quick to check if everyone does actually have a question. Yeah, everyone on that list has at least one personalized question. There are a few questions that are like the default, which I'm gonna be asking like for mostly every kind of like interview that I'll be doing. Like for example, when did you start making content or streaming? Or like, did you ever have a burnout? Or what else I have on that list of like things I can ask one of the many people that I'll be interviewing. And these are of course the default questions. They are like questions that are actually going to be personalized to their content, what they do, like their experience, and you know, all that pizzazz, shenanigans, all of that. And from one of them, I have pretty much a full-on list of questions. Essentially, I have, for one person, enough questions that I would be able to go and ask them now, and could be able to most likely make a video, like a decently long video about them. Because I have like a set amount of questions that I want to have before I go and ask someone, or before I do an interview with someone. And that set amount is like, I would probably say 15, 16 questions at a minimum. Because like, you know, if there are viewer questions and all of that, then I can put those in as well. And then, of course, if we go and ramble on, like, go a little bit off track and all of that, then it's gonna just extend the amount of time the interview is gonna be taking. And usually my interviews that I do, like the recordings, like the raw footage recordings and all of that, usually are around, I don't even know, like, how long did some of the recordings go? I would have to check real quick on my thingy. Right, I lost all the footage for Shezzy and Infinite and Yumi and Annie. Like, those are like 99% completely gone and lost in like the foreverness and the void. The CZR interview took 2.5 hours. That was one of the longest ones. The Trist interview took 2 hours. The interview with Press took an hour and a half. Hold on, let me quickly just check what I have. Alright. The Need McKinley interview took... oh my god. Hold on, give me just a second. The Need McKinley interview took an hour and a half. Then, of course, number 8 was the 2-year anniversary. Number 9, Sound of Sheep. Oh my god, I can't even fucking check how long some of my footage went. Because I keep getting fishes too fast. Oh, small blowfish. But yeah, the recording for that was an hour and 40. And then the current interview that I'm working on took around close around, almost 2.5 hours. So I would say like the average is like 2 hours of like raw footage. Like, I want to have at least enough questions, and I have like at least a minimum of like an hour and 30 of raw footage, which I can then like edit down into like at least 20 minutes. I want to have some interview videos that are over half an hour. That's at least one of the things that's my main focus for. I want to have long interviews with informative content, and that is also a little bit of comedy in the background as well. More on the aspect of learning something about a creator than comedy, but comedy is still also a thing that is important. Like, you don't want to have like a video that's fully like full on business serious kind of like mode and all of that. Like, that just gets views, like that just will make viewers just start getting like bored and then click off the video, and I don't want that. But yes, so I want to have at least 15 questions that will accumulate to roughly an hour and a half to 2 hours. And then edit that into a decently sized video. Decently long video. And so I've currently got one person on that list, on my bucket list, that I would be able to ask at this point now if they would be down for an interview, but I would rather wait until I'm finished with the current interview video than to have multiple videos be waiting to be edited and then uploaded and all of that like stuff. Because you know, I also have the live streams, and then I also have the speedruns, which I can upload. And then on that like extra thingy as well, like get a few viewers like on like a video. So like that, so like if I do 2 interviews, like I feel like one of them will get less viewers if I do like 2 interviews and then put out one after another like very quickly. I feel like that'll just ruin the performance of one interview video and will then just make all of the viewers get forwarded over to the second interview video. And I don't want that. I want both kind of like, if I would do multiple, I would like want both of them to have an equal amount of viewers, because like all of these have a ton of work put into them, and I don't want like a little bit of like time gap differences like in because of uploading like 2 very quickly at the same time to have one perform worse than the other. Like I want to have an even kind of like standing point for both. And also, if I do have 2 interviews that I would have to edit, that would be a complete like brain fuck for me. Because like it already takes me like an average of like in a month or 2, highest like 3, to like edit an entire interview video. And so having 2 at the same time that I would have to edit and say to people I will do this in like 2 to 3 months maybe, like doing 2 at the same time is gonna fuck my brain up, and then I'm just gonna completely get stressed, burn out, and then it's gonna be the same thing that happened with the CCI interview where I started to get burned out. Then like 2023 happened and I got depressed, and then I completely like neglected editing, which then resulted in the video getting rush edited in like a day before summer vacation. And then the video came out 7 months after I like did the recording with CZR. And I still feel very bad for doing that, because like having an interview with someone and then waiting over 7 months for that video to get released is like that's half a year that I just completely made CDR like wait. And in those 7 months, a ton of fucking stuff happened with his like channel as well. Like he got the new world record. He got a reaction video from Simply. Like Simply reacted to the world record that he did with the drum controls, which was sick. He went to GDQ and did a drum percent speedrun live there. Then he also, like during the interview recording, he mentioned a Patreon only thingy, which I like did like a little like censor bleep thingy where he told me about the Patreon only thing of like, I think it was it? I think it was either Mario Bros 1 or 3, like spliced up together to like what would be the closest to the perfect drum speedrun. And that has since been released on YouTube as well. Like that was essentially like an early supporter kind of Patreon thingy that he told me, and then he published it like multiple months before I published my like interview video. So I felt like that was kind of fucking, I feel like I kind of fucked it up by doing that. Because actually he did so much amazing shit during the time. And like, imagine if I did like publish it. Like if I did edit the entire thingy without rushing it, by the way. Like way earlier. Like, do you think it would have gotten maybe more attention if I did do it? Maybe. Maybe not. But we'll never know. Since that video has been released already and that took way too long to get out. And you can't really change the past. You just have to deal with it and then move on. And so I still kind of feel bad, but I know that like he was kind. He was very kind. He was understanding and all that. Especially because I think he was also on like a burnout state for quite a while as well. So like he was very understanding of like my situation of me being burned out, and was very patient with me as well. But like if I did something like that, like I know in my head that I'm gonna fucking make myself remember that for the rest of my life until I can like make it up somehow to them. And like I should probably stop thinking in that kind of like way, because like that's kind of like a bad mindset. And again, that video was like recorded in like 2023. We have 2025 now. It's been 2 years almost since that video got released. I think it's currently been 1.5 years, but I think sooner or later it's gonna be like 2 years since that video has been released. And over those past 2 years, like I have learned a ton of stuff. I've learned a ton of stuff. I have met new people. I have found out about things that I could improve on. Got some good feedback on stuff. You know, all that kind of like pizzazz, all that kind of like shit, which would be important to like actually do well and have a good mindset. And so like I've just been, how do I explain it? It's not really, I don't know really how to explain it. It's just like I've learned a lot over those past 2 years that I have been doing interviews. And looking back at some of my early interview videos, like fucking hell, like I definitely need to do like a remastered version of the Ashezi interview. Like Jesus Christ, that is so poorly edited. Like that is sucks so much, dude. Like holy shit. I'm surprised that I was even able to fucking edit using Kdenlive. Because before I did my first interview like video with Ashezi, I was using VSDC video editor. And when I tried to start editing the interview using that, like the play thingy literally just didn't work. And many other stuff just completely felt like it was not designed for long videos. Especially because it kept lagging and then crashing. The same happened with Kane Life after a while as well. Where like, at some point, like in the first interview video, I switched to Kane Live. And during, I think, the CZI interview, I realized... Not even like during the CZI interview, like way back before. I think it might have been already during the Yumi and Annie phase of the interviews, where like editing has been so sluggish with Kane Life that I was like, I cannot hold this on for much longer. And like, I think pretty much after CZI I realized, yeah, this will not work out. And so I need to find a new one. And I wasn't able to find one. And so I had to do the entire Trist interview using Kane Live. And that was also a pain in the ass, because it also kept freezing and then like crashing and all that kind of shit. But when I was starting to get all the stuff ready for editing the interview for Prez, I was looking at some YouTube videos and then I got recommended one about, I think it was about like DaVinci Resolve like keyboard shortcuts, I think it was. It was from some person about like, I think keyboard shortcuts. It might have been, or plugins, either plugins or shortcuts, one of those two. And I think it was, I think it might have been Senpai Gaming who made the video, which I then found, about like people switching over to DaVinci Resolve from Photoshop to DaVinci Resolve, and that it's as best of a free alternative to Photoshop as you can get. Like, people have told me that it's a essentially really good competitor to Photoshop. Premiere Pro. And so I was like, okay, so it's free. Apparently it is amazing. It's been used by a ton of great creators. Why not give it a shot then? And so I then went from the Kane Live project, I then switched over to DaVinci Resolve, redid the beginning of all of that, then did the entire interview video through DaVinci Resolve, which also took quite a bit of time. But in the end, it looked pretty good. And during the time now, since that, I've learned a ton of stuff. And I've been able to use a ton more things as well. Like, for example, I think during the first, like, during the, hold on. Like, I think during the interview video, I didn't really know how to make motion blur. And from what people, like, apparently told me, or from what I found, like, apparently, like, quote, motion blur is a, like, studio only thingy. But then I looked into other ways to have, like, motion blur, and I found a really good one, which uses Fusion, essentially. And looking at it now, it looks really good now. And so, like, I've been using that since then, and I've been able to do so much with DaVinci Resolve that I most likely could have never achieved using Kane Live. Like, sure, there are some things which I still don't know how to do with DaVinci Resolve, which I do know how to do using Kane Live, but Kane Live is so goddamn slow, and I'm not gonna do one tiny like 5-10 second section thing on Kane Live, then go ahead and export that and send that over to DaVinci Resolve, because that's most likely a huge pain in the ass. And DaVinci Resolve is like way better compared to Kane Live. Kane Live is a laggy mess. For me at least. And recently, like, Kane Live has also been like very, very, very buggy when it comes to editing. Like, I don't know what has caused it, but for some reason when I go into like some of the like older projects and start playing them, I hear this like crackling in the when I like play the thing through the editor. Like I just hear like crackling, and going through the timeline it sometimes loops a specific section for some reason. When I go and jump playheads, it like loops a certain like short period of where I jumped to, and that's annoying as fuck as well. So I am not gonna be using Kane Live anymore. And so like Kane Live is essentially fully dead to me. And I'm not gonna be using Kane Live anymore, because my god, is it a pain in the ass. And of course, I mean, I am gonna have to go and learn more things about DaVinci Resolve. Like, there's still tons of stuff that I don't know about. Like, hundreds of thousands, most likely, of things that I don't even know existed in DaVinci Resolve. Or I never knew that there was, like, an easier way to do this, or a faster way to do that, and all that kind of, like, shit. Or, like, doing motion tracking. Like, track a specific object and then follow it around so I can add some stuff towards it. Like, all of that shit, I don't know. Or if I do, I'm doing way too slow and there are easier and faster ways to do it, which I don't know yet. So I'm gonna be having to do like tons of research, tons of like new Googling, looking at tons of new tutorials. But at least I have the like quote unquote basic stuff. There are some advanced things that I know, of course, that beginners don't know. But there are like beginner things that I don't know. And of course there are like expert things which I am not experienced with, like at all. And I'm gonna need to do a ton of more research to actually be able to figure out how to do some of these things. But like, editing is fun. Like, I love editing. Like, that's why I've been looking at like job applications which are in the field of being an editor. Or like, I don't know the specific word for it, but like, hold on, let me translate it real quick. Google Translate. I guess like job training would be a good word to use, like job training. Like, I've been looking for job training places or intern places, or essentially just job places in general, where I can go and do like editing stuff for. And you know, I haven't found much. But it is a thing that I want to do for the near future, because I just like it too much. So seeing that I've been starting to get burned out of editing recently, it's kind of annoying but also kind of sad to see, because like editing is like one of the things I like. And if I start getting burned out doing fucking jobs when I have a if I do someday get like a fucking editing job and I get like burned out during the job, I am like fucked essentially. And so like I gotta like not be burned out. Like I literally can't be burned out. If I have a job and I like burn out, that's essentially fucking death. Like that's the job gone. Like you can kiss the job goodbye if you get a burnout. Because I don't know if it's like a 1-day burnout or like a 7-month burnout like I had. And if it's like a long burnout, you're fucked. But I mean that also goes the same way for editing for other creators as well. If you are an editor for a different channel that is not yours, and you start having burnout, like you can like kiss the money that you get from that certain creator like goodbye if it takes way too long, because they might just replace you with someone else. And that gets me to the topic of like editing for other creators. Like in the German like editor scene, like recently I've seen a ton of like, I wouldn't say drama or beef, but like kind of like backlash and like false information, or like in general just creators saying completely bad stuff about like like editors and all of that. Like for example, like I'm not gonna name anyone because I don't want to like point any to like hate towards some person that's like a large following, because I don't know what they might do. Because if they send like a fucking hate rate to me, I'm fucked, because I'm a tiny creator. What am I supposed to do? But yeah, so anyway, like there are some certain creators that have said like they have like a percentage of like the revenue that the channel gets that they give the like editors, but at some certain point they cut off that revenue stream to like a sort of like hard point, like a sort of like a ceiling essentially, of like if you reach that certain ceiling of like making so much money from my content that it stays at that max. And like if you make an agreement, like if the creator makes an agreement with the editor that this is plausible, feasible, and is good enough for the editor, like sure enough, that's fine. Like nothing against that at all. But then they made some like statements about like editors and all of that that like feel like it's a punch to the face almost to like any sort of like editor. Now I don't remember any certain statements, but like man, these statements were like really bad. And I even saw another like German editor make a video specifically about those statements made by some of those creators. And one of them, like, I wouldn't say like lashed out, but I made like a response in a kind of like rude way, and put like words in that editor's like mouth. But that creator is also known for not being the most liked creator in the German sphere of content. But yeah, like they made a couple of statements. A different editor made a video responding to those, saying like, that's not true, or that's really bad to say, and like you can't just replace some sort of editor because of that and all of this. And then that creator lashed out onto them. They made a response saying that is extremely bad what you said. I didn't even say those things and all that. Essentially, there's like a whole on like drama, like I wouldn't say drama, but like whole on like back and forth between like creators and editors and all of that. And it's not the greatest, definitely. Because again, like some editors don't make a ton of money. And when you do start making money, because that creator you edited for gets big and they say, oh yeah, we're gonna cut off that revenue at that specific section right there, so you don't gain enough money from me. That's like a punch to the face if you don't make it up, if you don't like make an agreement with them. And I know like some people do make agreements with editors before they edit for that person, but some don't. And then they say like, and then the editor like comes to them and says like, hey, like, are you sure you want to do this? Like, I don't really like that new change that you suddenly put on to me, and like you never made an agreement with me about it. And then that creator just said, yeah, I know I didn't say anything about it, but now you should just take it. And if you don't take it, then I'm gonna just replace you with a different editor. And that's then what one creator did. And so like that's like a huge fucking punch into the face to that person, because like they might have started making a lot of money from them. They cut off the revenue at a specific point without agreeing to them, without making an agreement with them. And then when they go and point that out towards that specific creator, they just say, yeah, deal with it, or I'm gonna replace you. Like, what the fuck is that? Like, that's just super fucking disgusting. And again, that's all my opinion. You might have different opinions than I do, and that's completely fine. I'm not gonna go and like lash out onto you for saying that I'm wrong or something like that. But like, I just think that's like disgusting. Because there are some that don't have jobs and have to rely on editing for other people. Like, you never know what someone might be going through. And so like taking someone's like revenue, cutting it at one specific section and then saying deal with it, or I'm gonna replace you with someone else. That's kind of a bullshit move, isn't it? Don't you think? Anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. Like, essentially, treat your cutters nicely. Like, your editors nicely. But yeah, back to the topic of like the interview videos. Like I made some I made enough questions for one person, but I'm gonna wait before I go and ask them, because I don't want to have two different like interview videos that I need to work on, which will make me start getting burned out. And so I'm gonna first finish the Ladies You Like interview. Most likely take a small break afterwards. But of course that depends on if I have like a major burnout that I have to say like I need a break at this point, or if it's like a tiny like burnout where it's like, oh, it's not too bad, I can deal with this. Like if I give myself enough rest throughout the day, then I can pull through. Like if it's like a short burnout, then like yeah, maybe I'm gonna take like then like a few days of a break afterwards. But if it's like a major burnout, then yeah, I'm gonna take a long break. But yeah, so like editing first, then asking second. That's a fucking big whale. Jesus Christ. Okay, well then. Jesus Christ. That takes up the entire screen most likely. But yeah, so like asking first, like recording first person, like essentially like asking one person first, editing second, and then asking the next person third. Because I don't want to have like piles of like interview videos that I need to work on, like start piling up, and then I start getting extremely burned out, and then multiple of these interview videos start taking like multiple months, or the same like that happened with CZR, like over half a year, or worst case a full year, which I hope that won't happen. So I'm gonna take it slow, do editing on one video first, then start editing, then ask the next person second. But again, like, also another thing from doing interviews is like, not only do I learn a lot more about them, but after I learn about them and like then start editing, like most likely being the next day afterwards, it's like, okay, so like after I learn more about a certain interviewee or someone, like I don't want to start like being extremely slow with my work, and so I say like usually 1 to 3 months for video, or worst case 3 to 6 if I'm really sick or I'm burned out or whatever. Like that's one of the main things I usually like that I have in the things I say before I like start recording the interview with a person, and also send them exactly what I just said, like days in advance, just so that they know. Because like I don't want to make something that takes over an entire year, make them think that I just fucking disappeared with like infos about them and say like, oh, I did an interview with them, when there's no fucking evidence of that yet. And then be called a cloud chaser because I took way too long to fucking then like edit on the interview video and fucking make it. But I think that's just my fucking like anxiety talking. I think that's just my anxiety talking and coming out. Because like essentially everyone that I've interviewed so far has been very kind, very understanding, and has been very, very patient with me. Even during the times where I had a major burnout, or when I was depressed, or whatever got in the way. Like my Windows PC just suddenly shitting itself, and so I had to reinstall everything, including Windows itself. And like when I told Soundersheep about that with the whole computer stuff and it completely dying, he was completely understanding and he was patient. And after the video then came out, he was extremely impressed. He liked it a lot. He thanked me again in the comments, I think. I know I pinned this comment, so I think he did. But yeah, like, so everyone that I've interviewed so far has been very kind, very appreciative of the work that I do, and has been very patient and very kind, essentially. And so I should probably, like, stop worrying less about, like, thinking about, like, the worst case scenarios of, like, ooh, I'm gonna take too long, and then they are gonna think that I'm just gonna use them for clout and all that shit, saying, like, I wanna interview them, but not doing the actual fucking, but not actually doing good enough work to say, like, fucking, I don't know, I'm just fucking, I'm overthinking it. I'm literally overthinking it at this point. I really gotta fucking calm down. I really gotta, like, stop overthinking, like, everything, essentially. Calm down and actually fucking not worry so much. Because most of them, like, know that it's gonna take a while. Like, most of them know how tedious it is to edit multiple hours of footage into a bite-sized video with actual good content and actually giving good enough information that it educates people as well, and all that shit. And so they are all, like, patient. They are all very patient. They know how long it will take. They know that it takes a while because it is tedious and takes a while to edit all of this down into a short, like, long form video. And, like, some of them do have experience with editing as well, so they know how I feel when I have to edit multiple hours of footage into a tiny thing that still has all of the, like, essentially, like, informative and important things. But yeah, I gotta, like, stop worrying so much and just take a breather. And actually just relax and not tell myself, oh, I have to go and edit now because this and that and this and here and all of that. Because, like, that just makes everything worse. I gotta go and do editing when I feel relaxed and when I know, like, I can go and edit, like, soon, but I don't have to do it immediately. I don't know what I'm saying right now. I probably sound stupid to some of you. But essentially, you don't want to go and do editing with a stressed and, like, anxiety driven, like, body in mind. You want to be as calm and relaxed as you can be, so that all of your creativity and all of your ideas can flow right into through the video, to the point where you can do this on autopilot and not have to always think about, like, oh, I gotta put in this or do this and start editing now, or else they're gonna think that I fucking am wasting time and all that shit. Like, you wanna have a calm mind so you can let your imaginations and creativity flow. You want to have a nice autopilot, essentially, and not be on like, oh shit, we're gonna fall, I gotta fucking take over this like airplane now, kind of like deal. You want to be like, I know what I'm doing, I gotta do this, I am calm, I am not gonna mess this up, it is easy. And I probably sounded like a dumbass again for some of you. Because I am a dumbass. Editing may not at your best leads to, in your own view, a bad video compared to other works. Absolutely. Like, if you have a bad, like, mentality and a bad mindset going into editing, you will just create a bad video. And you will know yourself that this video will be bad because you're gonna be in a bad mindset. You wanna be in a calm, like, and great mindset, so you can let imaginations, creativity, all that stuff like flow right in to the video to go and make something that you will know will be a video that you, in your opinion, will be good. It might not be good for some people, yes, sure, but of course that's their opinion. And of course, other people can give criticism and feedback and all of that stuff. That is usually what happens. And it's most likely going to happen at some point. Especially if you go and ask a professional editor for feedback about some of the things that you might have edited and all of that. Like, they will most likely rip you to shreds. And of course, if you ask for that criticism, that's fine. And even like criticism which you don't really ask for, that is also fine too. Because if it is good criticism, you can learn from it. But of course, if it's like bad criticism, like Twitter criticism, where like people are going like, oh, you did this sucks, do it differently, do it like this, it looks bad when you do it like that. Like, that is not how criticism works. Good criticism is where someone goes to you and says, hey, I think you could improve this a little better if you just did this instead of that, and then it would look a tiny bit better, maybe not the best, or maybe even better than what you've already done. And like, that is what kind of like, at least in my opinion, is good criticism and feedback, where someone goes to you and says like, I like this could be improved, I don't really like this, maybe you should edit this differently in a way, like this for example, or that, or however else. And not in a Twitter kind of fashion where they say, this looks trashy, do this. And then it's like, how am I supposed to do this? Can you give me better criticism? And then they're like, no, just do it differently. And then you're just stuck there like, bro. Anyway, I'm getting off track again, and I'm starting to sound most likely like a fucking idiot for some people. When did we last leave off again? Before the whole like criticism, editing, and all that shit. Where did we last leave off? Like, what was the last topic we had? Right, my bucket list. The interview bucket list. But I think I've already said, like, mostly everything that I can say at this point. So there's not really much else I can say anymore. That's a lot of clicks. Ooh, a man of war. But yeah, I'm definitely feeling a tiny bit of burnout on editing, and so I should definitely give myself more breaks here and there. I mean, I kind of did. Like, I think the last time I really started editing on anything was like a few months ago. Maybe no. The last thing I edited was in like the end of December, and that was the interview video with Sound of Sheep. So I guess it's not been too long since I actually did any editing on a video. So yeah, I guess I can see now why I'm pretty much burned out. Because of course, like, after the interview I asked a different person, and then next week, like after I released that interview video, I already had the next fucking like project that I needed to start working on. Like I already had next, like after the interview recording, which happened the week after I uploaded, like essentially I had instantly new work that I had to do. And like, yeah, I guess I can see why I'm starting to feel a little bit burnt out on editing. But yeah, I should definitely do more breaks. Because I do not want to end up like I don't want to end up like in 2023 where I like rushed through the editing for one video, already feeling quite a little bit burned out because of that, and then going right into the next interview video, and then being so burned out that I did not touch my editing software in 7 months. Yeah, 2023 was it was quite different. It was very different. And in different, I mean probably one of the worst years I've had in a while. Because like, my god, was it bad. Like a lot of like shit happened in the background in 2023, and then like I got the massive burnout, which also fueled the depression I then got like pretty early on into that year. So yeah, it was pretty bad. It was not good. Not good at all. So yeah, I should definitely take more breaks. Definitely more breaks. That's pretty much all I have to say. Because I do not want to have a 2023.2 happen again. Like 2023 was very bad. I'm not gonna say anything else. The only thing I'm gonna say anymore about 2023 is that I got depressed. A lot of shit happened. A few of them being because of the depression that I had in 2023. And that's all I really have to say. Thankfully, a few things that happened in 2023 were good enough that, you know, that I didn't say like okay, maybe no more life. That's... yeah, I was close. I got kind of close in 2023. Thank God I didn't do it. Thank God I had friends on the side that actually helped me through the difficult times. And a few great things here and there also as well, helping me through. But yeah, after that I've been... in 2024 I was essentially just recovering for like the entire first quarter year from the whole like depression thingy that I had in 2023. Still was a pretty bad beginning. It was a pretty bad beginning of 2024. But I got out of it. I got away from the whole depression shit and all that. Thankfully. And then so the rest of the 2024 was essentially recovering. And then like pretty much quarter 4 of 2024 was when I started getting back into doing like good enough, like mentally, where I was able to do streaming again. And now it's 2025. I am back in pretty good mental health and I am doing consistent streams now, including a mic, which I've not had since the start of my streaming, like, beginnings. Because I had just had way too much anxiety to talk in streams that I was like, nah, I'm not gonna use my mic. I had a mic. Like, I had this mic that I'm using right now, most likely since like beginning of 2022. But I didn't use it in streams. I really only used it during the interview videos, and that was it. That was essentially the only time where you were able to actually hear me talk. And like, talk with my voice and use my voice. Like, during streams, I was still like not using my microphone because I was just too scared to use my mic. But now, since then, I've been doing better. Still have a bit of anxiety, but it's not so bad that I'm not using my mic anymore. That I'm not using my mic during streams. Because as you can tell, I am using my mic. Excuse me. But yeah, so, but yeah, I am using my mic since like the end of 2024. Oh, I'm on. Hell yeah. So my anxiety has gotten better. It's still a bit there, but it's not so extreme anymore that I'm like, nope, not using my voice. Not doing it. And now I feel much more comfortable actually talking in like public chats and all of that. I still am kind of stuttery and am not the greatest at talking, doing streams and all of that. But I am improving. I am getting better, slowly but surely. But so yeah, if you ever like are in a situation where you feel depressed or feel alone or anything in the similar like I was for most of 2023, like make sure to get and like seek professional help. Like it was definitely one of the longest times I've struggled in life, and it was not fun at all. I can guarantee you it's not fun. Like if you are struggling mentally, please seek professional help. Like depression is not a fucking joke. Like it is bad. Ooh, wrong button. But anyway, let's get away from all this depressing shit and talk a bit more about happier stuff that has happened recently. But let me first find some upgrades. Golden hook, higher chance of catching extremely rare fish, always consumes 3 times the bait. Alright. Prosperous money bag. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Damn, that's a lot of money. Increase rod power. I think I mostly only need to increase my like rod power, because like the rod speed is not that much of an issue. Same goes with like the chances and luck and the max bait. Max bait might be helpful for future. So I'm gonna go and also upgrade the bait bucket. But anyway, let's talk about some nice stuff. Like, for example, like me recently doing more with my piano. And recently, I think I might have finally been able to actually play a new piece on my piano. That is not just my castle town. Because as some of you might know, I have practiced some other songs. One of those two being Time is Tearing Us Apart and Selfishness from A Space from the Unbound. And with Selfishness, I am pretty much at the point where I can play both hands pretty well. There are still a few points where I'm like slow with some sections, but it's gotten to the point where I can actually pretty much play the entire thing. And that easily at this point. There are still some slow sections where I need to still think of like where to put my hand. And with Time is Tearing Us Apart, it's pretty much close to done. The only thing that's like really missing on that one is for me to be able to play it like good enough that it sounds close enough to like the actual thing, because I did do some simplifications with some of the sections, because I will not be able to play it like in the original, like holy shit. But yeah, overall, those two songs, I am pretty much close to almost perfectly getting them down. Or like in a way that it sounds close enough to the actual game. And so the last thing really that's like, well, it's not really anything missing, like it's essentially completely done. So I have one thing already off of my, like, uh, what's the thing called again? New Year's resolution, right? Damn, I forgot what the fuck a New Year's resolution was called. But yeah, that's essentially one thing off of my New Year's resolution, like, fully done. Hell yeah. Now the only thing that's missing now on that list would be for me to complete a minimum of 4 interviews, go to the gym, get Twitch affiliate, and do 1 interview with the person on my interview bucket list. So yeah. I think the next step that I definitely will have to take is, or at least the next step that I will take after finishing my next interview video, which will be with Lady Zerdak, is to ask one person on the interview bucket list. Because I have someone fully essentially gotten, because one person has essentially, I have given and written down enough questions to the point where I can ask them now. And so like, I might go and ask them once I'm done with Lady Zerdak. The only thing I'm just like scared of is like, how do I ask them? And if they will even want to do the interview. Because again, I've never really interviewed someone as big as some of these creators on my bucket list. Like, the creators on my bucket list are fucking massive. Like, some of them have like hundreds of thousands of subscribers. And so I just literally have that like fear of mine that when I go and ask them and I take too long to like edit the video, people will start asking like in my kind of like stuff or in their kind of like channel, like when the interview video will come out and all of that. And like it's essentially just anxiety that's fueling my brain right now. But it's most likely not gonna be that. And so I just have to stop thinking so much about it. It's just that train of thought that I have in the back of my mind, and I really need to exterminate it. And so, like with job applications, I just have to go and shoot my shot. And if it won't work, then I guess I tried. And that's essentially also the same thing that Yomi Quinley has said as well. Like, give everything a shot, and if it doesn't work, at least you gave it a shot. At least you tried your best. If it doesn't work out, well, at least you did what you wanted to do. But anyway, I think I've rambled on for long enough. I think it's time to go ahead and end stream over here. I'm gonna check if we can go ahead and raid Xavier now, because I know that last time it didn't work because of her settings, and we still cannot raid her. Ah, that's great. Let's see, who can we raid then? I guess we can go ahead and... Yeah, let's go and raid Galbario. He's doing a challenge kind of like stream where the stream ends once he finishes every boss in Dark Souls 2, I think it is. So we're gonna be raiding him. Galbario plays. Never mind, we also cannot raid him. That's fucking great. Who can we raid? There's not really anyone that we can raid right now. Well, I guess I'm just gonna go ahead and end stream off without a raid today. Because I can't find anyone to like raid right now. Which is kind of sad, because I usually raid someone at least every stream of mine, but I guess today's not the day. Can't find really anyone, sadly. But yeah, I hope everyone had a great time in today's stream. Tomorrow we're gonna be doing web fishing again, but this time we will have Takahiro with us for a collab, which was kind of out of the blue because it was first supposed to be this Friday, but that didn't work, and then it was supposed to be Sunday, that didn't work because we had some stuff there that we needed to do, and so we decided to go for Saturday, which I did not have on my schedule yet. But I guess you can say it's gonna be a surprise stream tomorrow, where we're gonna be collabing with Takahiro in web fishing, just chilling out on a nice weekend, and then Sunday Runday is gonna be Sunday Runday. So yeah, I hope you will all enjoy tomorrow's stream and Sunday stream, or any stream that I will do in the future. And I hope to see you all next time. Bye bye.